everyone, it's Skippy. We've just gotten an official gameplay video released today of Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life. This is an hour-and-a-half long video that I'm going to shorten down to talk about the most important aspects of it. But if you want to see the full video they released, I've linked it down below in my description, so go check it out after you're done here. Let's get into it. Something I want to say here at the splash screen is just the absolute love I have for it. It's a fast-forwarded version of a winter day, and I'm wondering if it changes randomly when you open the game, or if it's reflected by progress you've made in certain game files. Now obviously, I can't read any of this besides the English, so if there's anything noteworthy in here at all that you see, and you can translate it, feel free to drop it down in the comments. So here at the very beginning, we have, just like how Harvest Moon opened up, where Takakura is on the beach talking to his old friend that has passed, which would be, I think, our father or grandfather. I'm pretty sure it's our father. It's so reminiscent of the first game. Now, normally in Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life, and Another Wonderful Life, this is where our character would appear on screen, but they've inserted the character creation, because obviously we get to decide how we look in this game and who we're playing as, whether it be male, female, or non-binary. So this is like the first time that we actually get to see the character creation in real time, because we've seen it in trailers, and we've seen it expanded in screenshots. So as of right now, before release, there's like 4 types of eyes, 5 types of skin color, and it looks like 12 eye colors? Actually quite a lot. I kind of like the variety they give for the eye color. I wish they had a little bit more variety for skin color and eye shape, but that is possible that it could be updated at some point. Actually, it's when you're naming something. It's when you're naming your character, an animal, or your child, this music plays. Which makes sense because we're creating ourselves and we're gonna name ourselves. Now we get to choose hair. So there's 15 different hairstyles to choose from. I actually really like how the hair moves. Okay, now we get to choose our hair color, which we have 12 choices of hair color as well, very similar to the eyes. And then you get the body type as well too. So I kind of hope they provide maybe an additional type or the choice to have one body type with a certain type of clothes over the other. Okay, so once you're done naming yourself and creating your character, you come down from the infamous untravelable path that you can only get to with the mineral town in the old game, but it wasn't really anything spectacular. You know, their walk cycles are a little odd because they're walking slow, but they're moving very fast. And here, of course, is our title screen that we've been seeing so many times in gameplay trailers. Absolutely love it. So this is going to be pretty much what we've seen in the trailers, where Takakura goes through the farm, we go downtown, we meet people, which is kind of cool because then it saves us from having to go do it personally. Like in other games, they're like, go meet everyone, he just introduces it for you. But this does make a very lengthy opening for the game. And then this is the part where we get to choose the dog and then name the dog. They're so adorable. I honestly don't know which one I would choose. And from how all of you voted, I'm pretty sure you guys would have a hard time choosing too. Just like this guy, he's having a very hard time choosing. Now, right before we're actually done with the introduction and getting everything set up, you actually meet the harvest sprites, just like in the original game. You kind of just pop out and say hello to you. But apparently nobody else in the town knows that they exist, so we're either really special or we're absolutely delusional. Now this is the part that we have not seen in video. We've only seen screenshots. It's clear that we cannot manipulate the camera indoors. So here we can actually check out the TV, which we had before with the 4 channels, the weather channel, the news channel, a music channel, and then a love channel, which I always found to be really interesting. We move so fast inside, like ridiculously fast. Here's our calendar, spring with 10 days, van coming on the 3rd and the 8th. Okay, and now it looks like it's sort of forcing a tutorial, which is put in like a scrapbook. And then there's several different sections within that. So the game gives you a very good layout of how it's played. So spring, summer, fall, winter. Which is definitely an upgrade to the last game where they're kind of just like, here you go. Figure it out. And then how to make food. Another thing is when you leave a building, it has like a circle where it zooms into and it's brown. Before it used to kind of just fade to black, but it's a lot quicker this time because going in and out of buildings before used to take a little bit longer. Especially if you had to knock to get in, because you knocked and then it would let you in. and it took forever. Not really a long time, but it felt like a long time. So it looks like these tutorials are prompted by when you interact with something. So he went outside, gave him a tutorial. Walked up to his plot of land, gave him a tutorial. So it's nice to know that the game is going to be very straightforward. Almost too easy, but I mean, it's good for anyone that's not used to the genre, so I'm happy for it. And something really cool is that the top left is what I believe to be a stamina bar / a health bar. See, as he just used the tool, it went down like a tick. And so it looks like L on the controller is to cycle through your tools. And you can also kind of shift through each tab of your inventory too, which is really useful. Okay, so now he's watering. So his health has gone down quite a lot since he began. Oh my gosh. That looks so unnatural running around with the dog like that. Now moving the camera around is a lot like before. You can move it in all directions as you run, before you run, up and down. And just leaving town, he's actually gotten the first cutscene you get with Muffy on the bridge, which I think is really cool for them to show. Okay, and here we can buy some seeds. So it looks like there's turnips, potatoes, carrots, strawberries, watermelon, tomatoes. Which some of these you can grow in winter as well too. Oh, he's having another cutscene. Is it with Rock? Yep, it's with Rock. 2 cutscenes in one day. I'm curious to see is how many cutscenes you get on your first day in this game. Yep, that's the Rock music for you. Now, as you can see, Grant, Kate, and Samantha's house is not there yet. That appears in Chapter 2. Here we're getting a different view of Cassie and Patrick's house and Cody's house in the background, which we have yet to see at all. And I'm pleased to know that it looks pretty much about the same. And it has pretty much the same sound of like almost like an industrial sort of sound. But Cody's not home, so he unfortunately can't go inside to see. And then we got Nami over there by the pond. And he keeps talking to her. So it's nice to know that the people still have a very similar hangout spot. And there's Cody, way up the path. There's the bulletin board. And Nina and Galen. Now he's headed up to Romana's mansion. As you can see, it's getting dark. It's about 5 p.m. And of course, the music inside Romana's mansion is the same. We have her 2 cats, which the walk cycle of that cat is ridiculous. I don't even know what to say about that walk cycle. And the space in between holding it, I don't know if it's purposefully made like that because of the old game. Like, there's literally, it's like floating in your hands. And I know some people are going to be very unhappy about that. Oh, the Siamese. I have a Siamese in real life. It's so cute. And the movement is so fast. You run so fast. It almost seems unnatural. And Lumina's on her way back up to the mansion. Now it's about almost 7. Now he came down to talk to either Cassie or Patrick. And you can kind of see some of their working stuff that they have over here. The running sound is definitely the same, which I love. And it changes depending on the type of ground you're running on, essentially. Now he's going into the Bluebird Cafe. So I think Griffin's asking him if he wants to buy something. And then it shows a menu, almost, of what you can buy. So we've got, like, orange juice, lemonade, or some sort of cocktail, a soup, coffee, strawberry shortcake, and a sandwich with the respective amount of cost. So he buys a coffee, and then we get the coffee, and we drink it. And as you can see, our stamina bar went up after we drank it. So I think this is really cool because, like I said in my other video, eating food is really important, fit and able to do farm work. He starts heading back to the back of the valley, where you have the Harvest Sprite house. Now, if you look at the time, as it hits 9 o'clock, an icon appears above our character's head, which indicates that we're tired. And if you look by our stamina bar, that same icon is there too. So I wonder if that affects how we perform. Even when you look at the character's face, looks a little bit sleepy. He also finds the Harvest Sprite hut and then decides to go inside. And then he gets in there and we start chatting them up with the magic honey pot in the back. I'm pretty sure it doesn't do anything anymore from a screenshot we had seen where your love interest asks if you want to have a girl or boy or if it doesn't matter. But on the special edition for the PS2, if you talk to the Mr. Pot's honey pot 100 times, it would ask you if you wanted to have a girl. Which is such a strange way to incorporate that. I love it. But who figured that out? That's my question. Who talked to that jar 100 times to see what it would do? And why? I love the sounds of night with the hooting owls. Now, the dig site is across from here. You can go fishing here. And the dig site, and he's trying to get over there. And in my head, when I was first watching this, I was like, well, you have to go all the way around. But it turns out they added a low spot in the river, so you can cross between the back of the valley at the Harvest Sprites pond and the dig site. And that is a huge time saver. Especially if you're coming from your farm. You can go up towards the back of the valley and then cross over instead of having to go down and all the way around. Now he goes into the dig site and no one's here because it's almost 11 o'clock at night. One thing I don't necessarily like is I don't like how dark the game doesn't get. Like, it's midnight and there's people walking around outside. I also find that a little odd. Now it's about 11:30 a.m. and he finally decides to go to sleep. So if we want to break down how long a day actually is, his character had been up for about 19 hours. And the time that he spent in that day actually walking around, not including the intro where we named everything and met everyone, he spent about 38 minutes. There was a lot of times where he had to go through the tutorials or where he stopped to talk to people. You know, he was exploring a lot. So granted, every day is not going to take you 38 minutes. But if you take an average of waking up at 6 a.m. and going to bed at around 9, that's about 15 hours. And 15 hours times 1.5 minutes per hour, if you're doing stuff, going into places, stopping to talk to people, is about 22.5 minutes for one day. So I will average it up to about 23 minutes. Now the reason why this is important is because people are concerned that there's not enough days in a season. There's not enough days in a year. When you times that per 10 days a season, you get about 3 hours, 45 minutes for a whole season. Which if you times it by year, is about 15 hours for an entire year. And as we know, there are 6 years to the main storyline, which gives you about 90 hours of main gameplay content. This doesn't include the heaven years, which you can use after to gain more money to just keep playing, which I believe were confirmed. And this also doesn't include cutscenes you have, mini games that you're playing, extended conversations that you have, times where you're haggling with Van, and other things that are going to stop the time in this game. So I wouldn't worry too much about time going by too quickly. I would say for the average RPG, that's a good amount of time. And that's on the low side of the average. Now, they take a break and they enter him into a year 2 game where he's married to Celia, and he has a daughter. So you can see that the house has changed a little bit. We do have the child's bed. So he interacts with the little baby and he does the pickup animation, which is so cute. And the bouncing. I love it. I love that it's like the exact same as the last game. And I like how the baby actually moves in your arms instead of being very static. Now, at this point, he's trying to take a picture of the child. And so we actually get to see how the camera works in person, which is very interesting. So pretty much, you can kind of zoom in from where you're at, but it is somewhat limited. It only goes so far. I don't think it ever actually shows behind the door that you walk into, which is a little disappointing, but you can still get some pretty intricate shots with this. But I think it's really funny because he has such a hard time trying to get a picture. Especially here in the kitchen. And so here he did a selfie timer, which is interesting. And for the most part, it worked. And now you can see exactly how it works to harvest, where you kind of just scythe it down and it gets picked up. And here you can see that there's multiple ways where you just do all of it, but the health bar is going down quite a lot. So that's pretty much it. At that point, they probably go over a bunch of other features that the game has. And besides that, we have a really good look at how the gameplay is going to work, and some of the things that I was expecting and some of the things that I wasn't expecting. I was expecting not to be able to turn the camera around inside a building. I was hopeful, but I'm not surprised that it is stagnant in one position. And you have to remember that this game is a lot different than other entries in Harvest Moon and Story of Seasons and other farm games, because this one is so story-based in comparison to the others, where it's more about saving the harvest goddess or playing multiple years where the town doesn't change. Your child becomes a toddler or maybe a small child and they don't grow up any more than that. This game is different. It has a beginning and it technically has an end. Well, that wraps up the gameplay release, which I was super excited to get. And as I said before, if you want to see the full video, click the first link in the description below. And if you enjoyed my video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll have my next content video out soon. Check out my other Story of Seasons A Wonderful Life videos here, or my Stardew Valley content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.